I could see this game going very wrong very fast for TSM if they do not like dodge the early momentum very well. I'm worried for them in this game one. I also think TSM's a team that they sometimes just drop game one. Like it happened in the Quincy series before,
Yep.
where the game one was rough,
Prepare
and
for
then
battle.
Moon's like, all right, I learned what I need to learn. We make the adjustments, and then game 2 and 3 look very different. I could see that being the case here. I think this draft is pretty Quincy favorite if they play this early game well. They have a huge chance to just blow this game open, take advantage of the kind of slowish support duo coming out, and a tricore that isn't really initiating anything, right? Zeus DP out is
Yeah.
pretty farm heavy. I mean, okay, DP can exorcism a tower or something, but who's backing her up when she does it? Like, pretty much nothing. So, I'm a bit concerned about how they're going to deal with this pretty fast minus armor lineup that's going to come online from Quincy. I think it's in their hands to win this game one. Matter of execution. Is it there? Is it crisp enough?
30 seconds to
Well,
battle.
that does mean that I'm sure Quincy Crew is probably thinking the same route as you, which means if they do drop this game, they're probably going to be feeling very bad about the start of their best of five. Not only did they think they have a draft advantage, but they couldn't actually execute well enough to end it, but we'll see if that happens or not. There's definitely going to be some serious momentum riding off of Roshan, this much physical damage and minus armor. There might be a bit of momentum off of an early
The
first
battle
blood,
begins.
but maybe not. 2-2 split, nobody fighting, and we could break down some of the lanes, I guess. We're going to have a tiny Slardar, which is pretty dangerous as a kill combo, toss back into a Crush against a Warlock and an Alchemist. So Dubu's got to be pretty careful with his positioning here. The mid lane matchup, TA versus Zeus. And bottom, we've got a Chaos Knight Enchantress against the Tusk Death Prophet. How do you think TA, I mean, you already talked about it a little bit. You like TA versus Zeus, right?
Yeah, the more I see this, the more I like it. I think it's not so much about the lane, it's just about that mid game. Like you have vision for the Zeus, which is a huge thing for your team to jump him. Your refraction blocks so much of his, discrete burst damage that comes in chunks. It's just a very nice interaction. I think the way the timings match up, you have a big window to abuse this Aegis and take over the map. So for me, this is like not really about the lane. It's just about getting TA to her thing, which Zeus can't really stop. And I think Quinn's gonna be feeling pretty good about it. Like, you stack up the triangle for this TA. Is Zeus contesting an ancient stack or something? Not really. It's just not the hero's MO.
Right.
And so I think it's kind of like outgreeding the greed that is this pure damage-oriented Zeus hero.
Well, on the first wave, Bryle did very well for himself when it came to the denies, using that Zeus's high base damage against a refractionless TA. But looks like the top lane, Equilibrium, did get pulled back. I'm going to assume Mojo probably did some pulling behind the tower or something to get it to this position.
I think it's just bonds. I mean, this is a pure shove lane. Warlock, Alchemist, at some point you're going to be bondsing them up, pushing them in with Acid Spray. You definitely want to try and get as many pulls and stacks off as you can. Early kill, the impetus.
A little bit curious why he didn't go Acid Spray if you are going to go that kind of style with the bonds and just pushing in the wave immediately. But yeah, we did get our first blood. Unfortunately, missed out on that one. The Death Prophet. It's kind of a squishy hero against the Chaos Knight. You got to play the sustain game, and Fada has already shown how deadly this Enchantress can be in lane with these impetus shots against a ranged offlaner.
Even went Blight Orb here to try and amp up that early damage, so paying off. First blood to Yawar, right? No, Fada took it.
No.
Oh, that's kind of sad. They'll still be happy with that. Can ferry out some extra regen to make up for the impetus investment. I think this is the point where the DP can get killed past level 3. This lane's probably going to be pretty self-sustaining for him. So if they can get the early pressure going, it bodes well for CK to be able to stay here longer. And maybe even pressure the DP later on with like a good Ench Creeper sling.
Right. Bit of pulling shenanigans going on in this top lane. Dubu managed to get the hard camp pull, which Quincy Crew will return the favor with a hard camp pull of themselves. But Tomato is more than happy to farm some skeletons, that's for certain.
Oh yeah. Early summoner camp, 6 skellies. Extra 15 each. That's a value point Grievel's Greed right there.
Yeah, that is. He's
swimming
already
in
up
it,
to
actually.
2,100 net worth.
What the hell? What a monster.
All right, Mojo did have his rotation scattered out, this high ground ward. He knows about it because the tower shot him from behind the trees, so knows their high ground vision. Bottom lane, Fana looks like he's going to be dying here. TSM FTX do manage to get a little bit of revenge, but unfortunately for them, the Satyr Mind Stealer is still sticking around, so another 30 seconds of mana burn for them.
Yeah, that death is whatever, you know. He traded full resources on 2 heroes with the mana burn. He comes back with full impetus, mana. You are still free farming. The most important thing for this lane is that CK free farms and Enchantress picks up the extra levels whenever she can.
Yeah.
Like, trading like this is, I think, totally fine. As long as you're not giving early earn charges or something, which Saberlight is rushing the phase boots for the extra armor.
Moon doesn't have Snowball, so he doesn't have anything to dodge that stun, and he
Here's
will
the payback.
pay the price.
You know, the most efficient region is a free trip to base. So
That's one way to look at it, for sure.
Bot is putting it to use.
I've seen a lot of alchemists get the early unstable concoction. Why is that nowadays?
It's just super high damage value point with very little cooldown. 150 physical early on is a lot for most heroes. And
It's gonna get
as
the
we
kill
see,
here.
That's example of why. I mean, Slaughter is just getting chipped down. Even with 10 sticky used, he still goes down to the Shadow Word plus the concoction damage. I mean, this is one of the highest damage level 1 nukes in the game.
Yeah,
On top of a stun, so
only costs you 100 mana as well. Pretty cheap.
yep, very efficient spell. On top of the fact you can amplify it with acid spray.
One more impetus
Very,
shot.
very efficient nuke.
If Fada sees him, be able to get the kill, but he does not. Tusk gonna have to walk back to base. Maybe he's coming mid. Oh, he's got Tranquil Boots, that's why.
Wants to try and prevent this tiny gank. Sniffs it coming. Quinn is 6 though. You gotta be a little careful here. TP pays the price for Moon's rotation.
Here comes that gank,
And
though. MSS.
Not even gonna save him.
Nice toss back. We'll be able to go into Brawl here, but Moon Meander is here now, and they're not going to chase too deep for that Brawl kill. The Heavenly Jump, still too much mobility. Maybe he can secure the 6-minute rune, tries to block him off with the shards, but that's not going to work. Fada actually intercepts and misses out on the Centaur Stomp, so Moon will at least get the bounty rune, but Quinn is going to be the receiver of a regen.
Most of the lanes going solid here for Quincy outside of this Slaughter lane where I mean, this is the double melee lane versus Warlock. You're not expected to win this one, and I think Tomato has taken pretty decent advantage of it, killing some of these small camp stack that Duwu's done, killing that summoner camp. He's definitely propelling himself pretty fast. And he's going to have to do some heavy lifting this game. I do not think this is a game where you can just AFK as Alec until 3 or 4 items and you're unstoppable. He's probably going to have to fight somewhere around that Radiance BKB. Which, you know, I mean, that's normal in a lot of Alc games. I just think this one is mandatory because Quincy is going to up the pace with potential early Roshan, potential CK rotations that can come out towards this mid lane. Like, the tempo is in their control if they want to push it.
Yeah, you talked about their lack of initiation on this side of TSM FTX. The one hero kid that can do something is the Blink Dagger Alc. So it'll be interesting to see how quick he gets that one. Fauna is going to be blocked out by the Ice Shards here.
Ooh, TP bottom.
It's going to take a lot, and looks like the slowdown. The Warpine Raider hit Saberlight, slowed him down just enough. Nothing's going to come of that rotation.
They really want to use this Exorcism. That's why Duwu's here.
Yep.
To try and help Saberlight push the tower. This is like that one combination, you know, they don't have great initiative on the lanes in terms of playmaking. It's pretty much this Exorcism pushing an objective with the supports behind him. If they feel like it's enough, they can force it.
And Quincy crew seem to be accepting of this upcoming push and instead are just trying to pressure the Alchemist.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, a
Radiant's
decent
bottom
trade-off
tower
if
is
you
under
actually
attack.
stop him farming some camps.
Radiant
Quinn's stealing some of his
structures
jungle.
are fortified.
Well, it's Lau cutting the wave top, so he'll get decent pressure on the tower here.
Radiant's
Mask of
middle
Madness
tower.
completed.
Oh, runs
And
right
there's
into
the CK
Yawar.
rotation.
A kind of weird rotation you're not expecting. He worked his way back from the safe lane through the jungle and then rotated for the 8-minute power rune. Finds a free kill on the Zeus. Great setup.
It makes sense. I mean, he doesn't want to stay bottom alone versus this Exorcism push that's coming through. He knew the support's TP'd bottom. This is a free rotation mid for him. Gets a good kill into a double.
A double damage for Quinn, plus the chain set of MSS, and looks like they're going to be getting a mid tower, so they will get the better of this trade-off, right? Mid tower is much more valuable than that safe lane one.
And this is the tempo Quincy can control right now. Like, they can collapse early with this Enchantress strength. Their CK easily willing to join these types of fights. He's a great hero to do it. Meanwhile, Laslau gets top for free, so very little invested for another tier 1. Full jungle access opened up. And now this is the portion of the game. Alright, you got your tower with Exorcism. But what happens after this for TSM? They don't have a huge amount of moves they can make. They don't have super easy ways to kick Quincy out of their jungle unless they invest heavily in doing so. This is where Quincy can really take more resources off the map. I mean, look at how far Yawar is up right now. 9 minutes. He's farming the enemy mid hard camp.
Yeah, you're almost never going to see a carry somewhere in that position. And Leslau's acting as a semi-carry right here with his Mask of Madness build, just continuing to farm between lanes and jungle camps. And you already know where TA is going to be resting half the game in that triangle, farming up Ancients whenever she can. Is going to be rushing out the Blink Dagger as opposed to the Deso, which is kind of interesting. The Deso would obviously give them even faster Roshan potential, but maybe they already have enough of that.
Yeah, they have a decent amount. The Blink can do some serious damage here. If he plays with Enchantress on the traps, they're gonna destroy supports, destroy the Zeus. There's not much that fights him this early on. Only this DP is the real threat. You don't want to overextend this Exorcism with like a golem drop. Outside of that, though, you're pretty happy to take any of these like 2-on-2, 1-on-2 type skirmishes. Kamado, he's trying to get the efficiency going with some Ancient stacks. It's just their map is contracting pretty fast here.
Yeah, not having the Radiance means that he is not able to make these fast rotations around, pushing out lanes.
Straight into the Roche.
Corrosive Haze plus Melds, even if it's level 1. We were talking about how much physical damage and minus armor they have, and you can see they make very short work of Roshan.
Ooh, is smoked here with Golem. I don't think they were expecting it this early in the game. And the pace has been amped.
He's out. You are gonna pop the Phantasm every single time it's off cooldown. Maybe he doesn't find a kill, maybe he can't hit a tower, but he can just farm efficiently. And you're right, this map just seems to be getting smaller and smaller. Tomato is having to push out a little bit more because there's just losing areas. And it doesn't really seem like this opener that we're talking about, the Zeus Death Prophet, there are some serious weaknesses to it, and right now it just looks like there's no real playmaking potential.
I mean, they just don't have it. Like, Warlock is one of these supports who needs cores to initiate for him. He provides pretty much nothing on the map without it. He's a dead hero at this point in time. Tusk is, in theory, one of these 4 melees who can start stuff. It's just hard for him to run into these cores. I mean, these are some man-fighting cores, you know?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He doesn't have the help outside of Exo and Zeus ult, which is like, what, are you going to run in and shard some dude for an Exo? It's just so awkward. So, this is what I'm saying. This draft is really just... TSM is going to have to wade through this period, farm it up on their Alk, and then hope he carries them through some fight. And if they lose that fight, I mean, this game is going to get grim real fast.
Dire are scanning.
Alright, well, the Radiance
Dire's bottom tower
is finally going to be finished up soon, so the farm can start accelerating a little bit more, but in the meantime, the final Tier 1 tower is about to fall on the TSM FTX side. They've got no response to it whatsoever.
Drum Enchantress, drumming up the rallied skeletons.
Dire's bottom tower
That's a solo tower.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Tusk looks like he's going to be tossed back into his death, potentially, as Moon Meander actually does end up going down. The MSS is going to be caught by the Golem, though. Quinn's going to take a decent amount of damage on his way out, but he should be fine. Fada letting get a Saberlight here. He's got Leslau nearby with the sprint to the Mask of Madness, so he may not have the blink to initiate, but Death Prophet's still got to be careful.
Still 3 ults for TSM to get a tiny, and they're losing their triangle. Is not going to feel amazing about that. they do have to take advantage of these overextensions by Quincy. If you don't have the ability to drive into them and make something happen, the next best thing is baiting them to overextend. Try and get those return fights off the back of a Bond Zeus ult, which, I mean, it looks cool. There's such an early Aegis, though. It's not even really a fight you can take, and now... Again, just where's the next play coming from TSM? It's gotta be a bait or an exo. It's pretty much their only choice here.
Yeah, I'm looking at this trio right now. Moon does have a smoke, but like, what would you even do with that smoke? With the Zeus Warlock? Especially without Thunder God's Wrath. It just seems pointless to try and make any sort of offensive move, and they're not going to. They're going to hold their high grounds, see if anybody from Quincy crew walks into them. If not, they seem to be at least somewhat content with Alchemist farming away. He has his Radiance, is going to be going AC second item here.
They are getting jungle space. Quincy's giving them a little bit of breathing room here. And like you said, I mean, they are happy to farm to some extent. Like, Alk is Alk and Zeus is Zeus. And they're very good heroes for farming it up and doing a lot with the net worth they get. I mean, the damage output is still going to be significant. So if Quincy does overextend at some point into a bad fight, it can turn this game around very fast.
Death Prophet coming in from the side. They're going to be able to catch Quinn. He linked into Moon Meander, but Moon Meander actually didn't have enough stuns, it seems. Didn't even throw out the Walrus Punch. Maybe they were just felt like they were going to be overextended.
Yeah, I don't think that's the fight, and I think Moon's right. Like, you're going to kill TA Aegis, he respawns, you still don't have Golem. Is that a fight you really want? It just sounds terrible, so... Instead, choosing to maybe bait Quincy around and try and go for the other side of the map here. This is a good find if they look for it. Nope, just snagging bounties.
I don't think they're looking for anything. Quinn's looking for something. He's going to be able to find Dubu. Saberlight bumped back, tossed backwards into Fada, and the crush.
He got the silence.
He's got it. Saberlight, he'll prolong his life with the Spirit Siphon. But he will eventually die.
He did rush that plate mail. Pretty tanky.
Yeah, it's not the only one. The Alchemist already has his plate mail. Yawar kind of got baited into this fight between Bryle and Moon, and now with the help of Tomato, they get that kill on the carry Chaos Knight.
Bait it up. Hook, line, and sinker. That's your best play this game, is try and get some Quincy hero alone or in a 2-on-3, bait him in. Then your Alk is happy to join that type of engagement and help you clean it up with the Radiance damage.
I mean, that just felt so greedy. You had TA getting kills in the triangle. The bottom lane, they were getting the kill on the Death Prophet. It seemed kind of unnecessary to be forward at all.
Definitely a bit of an overextension. Gonna cost Quincy a little bit here. Push Alk towards an AC seconds, and he has it. This is a strong item this game. Quincy's damage is a lot about this armor differential. We've already seen TSM itemized for it. Early plate mail into Lotus for Saberlight. A buckler on Dubu, which you can turn into Wraith Pact later, but still a little extra armor. AC on Alk. Suddenly there's, 7 armor aura coming out here. Pretty significant.
Yeah, pretty good, but that only offsets the Desolator that's about to come in for Quinn. So, on top of that, he still has his double damage in the bottle. So, I would be, well, maybe if they find the TA by herself, TSM FTX with the 4-man smoke, Quinn, blink away, should be totally fine. They just don't have anything to stop him.
Yeah, he's uncatchable this game. As long as he has blink and refraction up. I mean, you're going to need a smoke in to jump Alk stun when he gets blink. That's your best bet.
Ooh, they've got the bash prepped up. They're going to go for it. Avalanche and chain stuns.
Oh.
Easy.
To the dead zone.
No missed chances for them, and I'm not sure they were going to have damage for that. They actually just crushed him, huh?
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Dire's structures are fortified.
What, you don't respect my pun game, or what?
Top tower is under attack.
I'm just never sure if you're doing it intentional or not.
Always intentional.
Always. I don't actually believe that, but okay.
No, all right, well. We'll
Bryle,
discuss that later.
He already has the shard. He's got a Kaya, and he's gonna go for the E-Blade. So no Aghanim Scepter. I do think an E-Blade is really value when you've got 3 physical damage minus armor cores on the enemy team, so I like that choice.
Seems decent. He can save himself from a jump or a rift. Pretty big. Ideally, he's not in a position for that to happen, so...
Maybe he could save Saberlight. I mean, Saberlight's going to be going for a Lotus Orb, so it's a nice choice, but when push comes to shove, Quincy Crew can just focus him down. But the right timed E-Blade could do a lot to be able to win a fight.
You can definitely turn Slane around. I like TSM's itemization here. They have identified kind of Quincy's draft's focus, like the one thing they can do, which is hit you hard, really hard, you know? So you itemize to prevent getting hit really hard, and every little piece of armor, every little piece of physical mitigation they can get, prolong the fight is how they're going to win them later on. Because later on, the fights become easier. They'll have a blink on Tusk. They'll have this blink Alec who can get multiple stuns off. They'll have this DP who can man up a bit more and just run in the fight with the siphons. There's, of course, Zeusol bonds, some upheaval maybe. You have a bit more control that you can play with. They just need to get to that point. Get there at a reasonable spot that one fight that can like turn the game around happens in a favorable position for them. Because they're not too far behind. Quincy did give them some space here. They had some nice early tempo and it petered off a little bit.
Turn around, just golem thrown, but Quinn blinks out of it.
Interesting attempt.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe he thought his blink was CD, or he didn't have refraction up or something?
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Even if he hits him with a stun, if the refraction's up, he's probably still going to blink away because, again, TSM FTX do not have those immediate stuns, not even to follow up a golem.
I mean, it's farming golem, you know.
Yeah, true.
He's not doing much more with it at the moment anyway. Plus, I think this level 1 golem, honestly, like, instantly dies in the fight anyway.
That is definitely true.
So, it's not the worst. Not the worst. He's scouting Roche with it. I mean, you'd rather have it up than not. Not the end of the world, though.
Well, they do now have a follow-up stun. A fast-reacting one. Moon Meander has the Blink Dagger on Tusk. You pointed that as sort of a integral part of TSM FTX's team fight as the game goes later on. So we're going to see that in action soon, but Quincy Crew seem not concerned at all. They are very happy to just keep farming, and it looks like they're going to hit this timing where all 3 of them get their BKBs within the same minute.
Yeah, I think they're all, both of them are flying out except the TAs. And BKB, there's some BKB interaction for TSM, so it's not anything crazy. Still, very strong timing is going to come out for them, preventing a lot of the Zeus damage, and more importantly, debuffing that bonds. That's the annoying thing for Warlock. Spell immunity and debuffs, or dispels, really just hinder this hero. It's one of the biggest downsides. That's why we saw like Legion Abaddon picked up a lot when he was popular. If you remove bonds, what is this hero offering?
Right, yeah.
Almost nothing. I think Upheaval will be good in this game way later on. They can hold their ground. And right now, it's not doing anything. So, it's a bonds or bust. Like you said, triple BKB. You don't even get the chance. Big smoke. Mojo finds
forward. Nice toss back. They're going to be able to get the chain stun pretty easily, and Leslau immediately goes for the backline. Dudu's going to be first of the backline to fall. Moon tries to escape with a blink away. Nice shard block off, but there is a little gap, and the toss forward will ultimately lead to Moon Meander's death. 3 down on the side of TSM FTX, and the game just got that much darker.
I mean, it's pretty much the easiest jump of Mojo's life. He's just going in, stunning multiple heroes. The second that happens, the BKBs get popped, and the team fight's pretty much over. Alp gets insta-popped like a pinata. I don't even think he existed for more than 3 seconds. AC or not. He is just not survivable at all versus minus armor. And there's not much that's helping him. Even if you snowball him there and reset the fight a little, he still just can't man-fight these 3 cores.
Trying to catch Quinn, but he got a fresh refraction off, so not going to do anything. Blink away. Tomato's going to stun himself. Fortunately for him, Quincy crew is all backed off to farm up neutrals, push out some of the side lanes, and get map control again after doing Roshan. They did give the shard to TA, so watch for that trap silence. Could be really effective against some of these heroes, the Tusk and Zeus in particular.
Hour of Templar Assassin, you get that second Roche early. I mean, they did the first one so early. This is an insanely early shard for her. There's just so much free net worth, honestly. It's hard to fight. And TSM won a fight. They're getting multi-trapped. They just can't really start it.
Yeah, they want to fight because, I mean, the game's not going to get better for them,
Dire's
right?
bottom tower is under attack.
Not
Try
sure
here. The
going.
initiation goes out. They do have the counter initiation to be able to save Saberlight. Inside of the snowball, Dubu's going to die as you are. Just rallies him with a bunch of
How strong
Phantasm
is Death
illusions.
Prophet?
Look at that. The Death Prophet
Not at
just
all.
gets popped so quickly. As soon as they turn their attention onto the Death Prophet, she just explodes. Too much minus armor, too much physical damage. And Moon isn't actually out of here. Blinks away. Avalanche doesn't catch Brawl either, so they do not lose anybody there. Tomato's going to go for it.
Dire's middle tower is under
Very interesting. The fact that they're opting to fight into the 5-mana Quincy crew, even with an Aegis,
bold.
even chasing after the Aegis. There's no way Tomato's strong enough to be able to deal with this. Now the stun, they caught the Zeus, they get the silence in there as well. The
E-Blade.
E-Blade once again
Nice
bailing him out,
spawns.
and then really nice spawns is going to be able to burn through Yawar. Yawar's just going to fight to the
shredded.
death. Quinn is also going to get shredded here. Tomato might just be the strongest hero in this game now as he's going to turn. Bada's finished up, the stun gets
Save the
thrown.
stun for him.
Quinn is going to die a second time. What a turn from TSM FTX. That looked like a disaster in the making, and somehow they managed to turn it all around.
No BKBs. That's the secret. And if they overextend, I mean, no BKBs on 3 cores, you're fighting into this
Radiant's top
boss. He gets it
tower
on
is under
4
attack.
heroes with Acid Spray, Arc, Lightnings, and the Radiant Spring going to work. Alec is survivable enough. He can take that fight if Slardar doesn't feel like he can man up. Suddenly, Quincy find themselves stuck in a world of pain. That might be the one fight that turns this game around.
Radiant's
If they
middle
get a
tower
couple,
is
if they get
under
1 or 2
attack.
more of those without the Quincy
Radiant
BKBs,
structures are fortified.
suddenly you're looking at a different situation where if DP's survivable enough, if Alec's survivable enough,
Radiant's middle
don't
tower
underestimate
has
this
fallen.
late game lineup. It's a Zeus team. We know what this Zeus can do.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times. E-Blade immediately paying off. Now he's going to start working towards an Aghanim Scepter. Quincy crew, I mean, they shouldn't be too concerned about that last fight, right? They're like, okay, just have to make sure we have BKBs up. And don't get, like, the full team fatal bonded. That probably
Yes.
would help.
That will do it a decent amount towards helping them win a fight. I want to say, like, how often do you see Solar Crest in this meta?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about Dubu's choice?
Yeah.
Saw that earlier.
This is a rare item to build nowadays. Pretty much never. And again, just emphasizes the fact that TSM, they only care about Quincy's physical.
Yep.
Like, they don't care about anything else except keeping their cores alive versus physical damage. Every little bit they can get, even Talisman Rush on this Death Prophet that will go into the Halberd.
Do you think the fact that Quincy Crew's lineup is one-dimensional in that fact that it will cost them going late game? Because all 3 of these heroes do scale, but it's all the same kind of damage.
It definitely makes it hard late game, I think. I think these types of lineups tend to eventually fall off just because items are so powerful and, you know, you understand what they want to do and it makes it very simple. Every physical detriment you add to the table is just worth that much more, you know?
Right.
And whereas Quincy, they have to think about a lot more stuff. They have to think about this Bond's Dispel, the Zeus magic damage, the DP hybrid with the Exorcism and the Siphons, Alec physical burst with the Tusk tag team. Like, it's a lot of random stuff they have to think about and not as straightforward. So it just makes your idea of how to play the fights cohesive, and that's why a lot of times teams opt for multiple sources of damage. The strength of these Quincy lineups is it's like a spearhead. You're very focused, and if you ramp it up and drive it home, it's incredibly powerful and synergistic in terms of bursting a single hero and taking the numbers fight.
Yeah, like they
That's
did.
where the snowball save is super huge too.
Yeah. Anything to be able to reset these fights. Yawar is going to be going for a nullifier, so we will try and counteract these Ghost Scepters and E-Blades and such. Tier 3 items, so both teams are going to take a bit of a breather to farm that up. But I'm expecting to see some action sometime soon at Abyssal Blade complete for Tomato. They have a pipe on the Enchantress, so Fada actually getting really farmed. He had the Force Staff early with the drums. Now a full-out pipe as well. Leslie almost has an AC of his own, so they're going to be able to offset Tomato's advantage that he got super early.
I think Quincy needs to get to their next round of items here. Like you said, that AC, maybe another damage item on TA even. I think it's actually pretty scary to fight into this TSM lineup now, in terms of going on them. I think the Golem drop plus some snowball save, he has a Ghost Scepter on Tusk, is enough time bought for this Alk and Zeus to, you know, wait out the BKBs. It's a lot about the jump. Like, Quincy really wants to vision this game. They want to play on the traps, play on the wards. See a core, jump, burst them, and take the fight with the numbers advantage. Because once their BKBs are out, that's go time for TSM.
Right. Which means it's a far different game for TSM to take a team fight on the other side of the river like they were kind of thinking about there, as opposed to right next to their tier 2, which is where the last big team fight happened.
Oh, TSM would love if Quincy ran into him. Like, they're begging him, you know? Like, come at me, bro. I'm happy to take a defensive-oriented fight where my Warlock gets free spells and we can use the towers, maybe even a buyback to wait out BKBs. Like, that's their dream. Jumping into Quincy is still going to be tough here, I think. Unless you have some crazy Alk initiation.
Mojo. Toss back into the crush. One shot. Oh, look at that Fatal Bonzo with the unstable concoction. What a combo. Jesus.
What the hell just happened?
They were instantly ready for that. Damn.
Quinn didn't even get BKB off. He got golemed into the Nimbus and absolutely evaporated. That clump. You cannot clump like this versus lineup, man. It is devastating, the Bond Zeus combo.
That was just unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen like a combo like that operated so efficiently.
I mean, that was absolutely nasty. What was that? I mean, it was a 4-man golem for sure, maybe even a 5-man.
It was, yeah. And then the Fatal Bonds on top of an unstable concoction that I feel like hit too. I think you're right. The Nimbus chain stun off of the golem on the TA. So he had an illusion rune as well. So there were multiple things that he could have done to dispel if he could use his spells. But
deleted him and his keyboard in that play. I mean, it was just absolute destruction. And again, what was the name of that game? Them getting baited on this Tusk. That's what set it all up. Like, they see this Tusk. Okay, cool. We'll toss him back. We'll go on him. That's vision of everybody for TSM. And Tusk is like probably the least important person in their lineup.
Oh god, Quinn's tilted now.
Is he?
He lost. I mean, they just lost 2 team fights in a row, and then he accidentally canceled his TP out.
All right. Well, let's not jump to conclusions. And Quinn's a formidable player. You know, they can afford some setbacks in this game. They still have a lot of damage. And remember, Golem's on cooldown, so 60 seconds now. Quincy can make an aggressive play and feel better about taking this fight at least. No, actually, there is Zeus ult back up, so the benefit of Quickening Charm. No Exorcism, though. TSM's missing some key spells.
The long wrap around. The Thunder God's Wrath. He was thinking about it. If he pops it, they'll know. There's the smoke. Saberlight needs to get out of there. He's actually putting himself on the front lines. He wants them to initiate. They've got the high ground ward and everything.
Let's have the Lotus bait. Seize them all. Let's see one Roche.
Well, that Roshan's going to happen real fast. They still don't have the Golem for 20 seconds.
Exorcism
Nimbus
back up.
gets some vision. They immediately pop the BKB with the Yawar coming in from the side. Doesn't actually get the save from Moon Meander. They're going to turn around and go for MSS, but Roshan's already dead. Looks like Leslie and Quinn feared. He didn't read that one. That's going to be an Aegis burned once and possibly twice. Let's see.
There's no BKB.
Yawar's coming back in. He's got a Blink Dagger, but they call it quits. They're going to leave Quinn behind. Well, Mojo apparently didn't get the memo. He jumped in and will die. A dieback, in fact, for him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Pretty much a disaster of a team fight for Quincy. They try and force this Roche with the cooldowns coming up. Saberlight just runs in with Exo. Nobody wants to man fight him. They're trying to jump the back line. They do take this Warlock out. One of the more important pieces of this puzzle. And then they just focus Roche. The damage gets split. None of these cores are that easy to bring down anymore, it feels like. And Zeus is just going to town. The fear on the TA. He used BKB to finish the Roche. He gets the refresher shard and the cheese. Trying to backpack it though. He doesn't get any of it in time. An awkward engagement from Quincy.
I feel like this is really showcasing TSM's greatest strength. They always seem to, I think very similar to, say, Spirit and OG, have very good read for how they want to play team fights and execute very well in that regard. And I think that's like why TSM is a team that isn't super reliant on the laning phase, is because they play these mid-game team fights so well.
100%. They're a team that their focus has been on that mid-late game period. It is historically different than a lot of NA teams, and it's probably what has proven well for them.
Managed to nab a double damage away from Tomato, but they still don't have the damage. Not even Leslow there. Tomato turns around, kills him. Now it's going to be Yuar in trouble, stuck inside of the Ice Shards. A beautiful throw from the Moon Meander Tusk, who isn't going to be able to do anything about Fana. Still looks to be able to chase down Quinn, but won't be able to catch him either.
Spiraled out of control for Quincy. I don't see them man fighting this Alk anytime soon. He is way too tanky, way too out of control. This DP is, I mean, he's not the squishy DP of the early game. He's got Plate Mail, Lotus Orb, Halberd, and a Blast Rig. The armor has come alive here.
Thoroughly impressed by TSM in this game. And, this is going to be one hell of a victory if they can close it out. But Saberlight does get tossed back an awkwardly far distance, and now the snowball in as well. TSM are going far too deep. Fortunately, the Ghost Scepter is there. Saberlight is going to have to deal with Quinn sticking on top of him. Actually, Blinks tries to go for Dubu, another Ghost Scepter. Now you see the problem with all of this. He's going to pop his BKB and turn around, go for Saberlight, but Moon Meander knocks him up in the air. Fada, Snowball coming out for him once again, all the way into the fountain. It's going to leave Quinn behind, though. Even the fountain, they're having struggled to be able to get these kills, but they will finally kill the Death Prophet. Moon Meander is quite low as well. Bryle covering his tracks, though, making sure nobody blinks out of the fountain.
Radiant's bottom barracks has
Alk feels invincible. I don't know how they're touching this guy, man. He's getting solar crested, he's getting shadow worded. There's random dispels and Nimbus is flying out. It's just Quincy cannot focus a single target, bring him down, and get the numbers fight they want with all the disruption that's happening in the fight.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're just getting bonds at the end of their BKBs and destroyed by Zeus. Quinn had 2 BKBs that fight off the refresher shard, and it still didn't feel like enough.
Still has that cheese. Is close to the MKB that he's been working at for a while. Scotty now complete. Another big upgrade in stats. We also have level 25 coming in soon, so the plus 50 chemical rage regeneration is what most people go.
Zeusel trying to find a target for this Alk stun. Quincy bail the hell out of there.
Oh, he goes to movement speed this time.
Oh, he did.
Why though?
I guess he just feels invincible.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just ending the game, surely the movement speed isn't that valuable, right? Where do you need to run to?
The one interesting thing about it is you can sell boots and feel a lot more comfortable.
Oh,
because between this talent and the Swift Blink, when he blinks in, he's basically hasted without boots, which means he gets another slot while keeping hasted move speed. So that part of it makes sense to me. Like, if you're not worried about getting bursted or killed, I mean, I don't think Quincy has tried to even focus him in a long time. May as well just deal more damage, which is basically what this talent ends up doing.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
I mean, this is a scary 6-slot out. He's got 4,000 HP, Scotty, Swift Blink, Paladin Sword on top. They need a couple MKBs here, quick Quinn has one. That's about it, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting that second one. I mean, they went for the
Dire's
nullifier on the
bottom tower
Chaos Knight.
is under attack.
Leslau, he went for the AC, and they've just been losing fights ever since those items, so. Also, just a side note, how incredibly good it is when you have an Alchemist on your team to get Paladin Sword.
It's a little nice. It's a little bonus, you know.
Yeah.
He's not gonna complain about that one in the post game. I'll tell you that much.
Five-man,
They got
no
some good
smoke.
items overall. Like they got Ninja Gear for Zeus, which is amazing. They got a Trickster Cloak for this DP, extra evasion.
That's true.
They got some good stuff coming out. Even aesthetic cap on this Tusk. That's pretty much what Moon's been doing. Run in and tank some jump.
A soldier's fortune.
Thunder God's Wrath did show that Quincy crew was outside of their base. Now, Quincy crew backed up, but it looks like they want to re-hold this area around their vision. And of
All the
course,
courier on a trap.
TSM
Quincy knows
FTX,
they're here.
something similar. Smoke is going to break. Shiva's walking forward, and Mojo actually does go for the toss back on a Saberlight, and they're going to try and blow him up, but again, the Golems come in. A beautiful setup with a snowball save as well, and they cannot get the blow up they're looking for. Quincy crew is just going to get destroyed, as not even the Death Prophet can be finished off on this. A GG called Quincy crew. They had a nice tight hold on this game for the first 20 minutes, but it seems like they may have underestimated TSM FTX's ability to go late game with these team fights.
The map control fell apart. That one fight around mid, they get baited on the Tusk, 4-man, 5-man rock, bonds into Zeus.